Definiteness of purpose attracts riches the moment a man fixes his mind on a specific purpose with absolute clarity. He sets in motion unseen forces that begin conspiring in his favor. Riches are not drawn to the confused or the indecisive. Wealth does not answer the call of those who drift from one idea to another, like a leaf blown in the wind. Instead, it responds only to those who declare with certainty what they intend to achieve, and who back that declaration with thought, emotion, and action so powerful that even the universe cannot ignore them. The masses fail not because they lack ambition, but because they fail to define what they truly want. They chase shadows instead of substance. They run from one opportunity to the next, changing paths every time discomfort appears, never staying the course long enough to demand results from their effort. This is the tragic fate of the majority. They never decide. And money only follows decision. A definite purpose acts like a beacon to the subconscious mind. It sharpens focus, aligns emotion, and orders thought in a way that multiplies power. When your purpose is definite, your energy no longer scatters in 1,000 directions. It becomes concentrated like a laser, capable of cutting through resistance and igniting action that builds momentum. Your speech changes, your habits change, your associates change. Everything bends to the will of your purpose, and that transformation makes you impossible to ignore. No man can accumulate lasting wealth who does not first declare what he is building. Money is an obedient servant, but it refuses to serve those who do not know what they intend to do with it. The man with a vague desire to be rich will always be outpaced by the one who declares, "I will build a business in this field, serve these people, solve this problem, and in return I will earn this sum." That level of specificity creates magnetism. It creates order. It creates the foundation upon which true wealth can be built. Without a definite purpose, the mind remains in a passive state. It becomes easy prey to doubt, fear, distraction, and delay. These enemies of fortune thrive in the minds of the undecided. But once a man becomes definite, he becomes dangerous. The fog of hesitation clears, the voice of fear weakens, and the strength of will emerges to drive him forward. People of great fortune were never merely lucky. They were committed to a definite chief aim. That aim took hold of their thoughts day and night, influenced every decision, and pulled them through every hardship. It gave them resilience when others quit, clarity when others panicked, and direction when others wandered. Their purpose became their obsession, and that obsession built an inner world so focused, so commanding, that the outer world eventually yielded. Opportunities are invisible to the man without purpose. He cannot recognize them because he has no standard against which to measure them. But to the man with a definite goal, opportunities appear like stars in the night sky, because he is tuned to the frequency of his own ambition. He sees what others miss. He seizes what others hesitate over. He moves when others freeze. Faith-fueled action is the wealth engine. Every fortune begins as a thought, but thoughts alone are powerless without belief, and belief is useless without motion. Faith-fueled action is the true engine behind all wealth. It is the fire that takes an invisible idea and transforms it into a visible reality. The world does not reward wishes, idle hope, or casual desire. It bows to those who combine inner conviction with relentless effort. Faith is the root, action is the branch, and wealth is the fruit. The man who truly believes he is destined for success behaves differently than the one who merely hopes for it. Hope whispers maybe, while faith roars absolutely. Hope is passive, but faith is aggressive. Hope waits for conditions to be perfect. Faith moves when others are standing still. Faith does not look for guarantees. It forges ahead with full expectation, certain that results must follow because its vision is clear and its energy is aligned. To act without faith is to labor without direction. But to possess faith without action is to be a dreamer forever trapped in the mind. When you ignite both, when faith becomes the force behind every decision, every step, and every risk you become unstoppable. There is a rhythm to progress that only those with unwavering inner belief can tap into. That rhythm carries them over setbacks and through storms, while others retreat or collapse. The man who moves with faith-fueled action wakes up each day with a burning reason to push forward. His doubts may visit, but they never stay. His environment may shift, but his direction does not. He does not consult his fears, he consults his vision. He does not ask whether the path is easy, he commits because the outcome is worthy. In his world, obstacles are not signals to turn back, but challenges to prove that he is worthy of what he seeks. Faith transforms ordinary labor into extraordinary momentum. When a man believes deeply in the value of his work, he does it with greater intensity, sharper focus, and stronger will. Every rejection becomes a lesson, not a wound. Every delay becomes a test, not a sign of failure. This mental posture multiplies output, attracts opportunity, and impresses others, because the energy of faith is contagious. People can feel it. They are drawn to those who exude certainty in their purpose. Money follows certainty. It runs from hesitation. Those who command high compensation in the world are not necessarily the most skilled, they are the most convinced. They speak with authority, they act with precision, they deliver with confidence. And this level of inner power can only be built through sustained belief expressed through daily execution. Faith is not loud. It is not theatrical. It is steady. It is a quiet knowing that drives a man to show up again and again, long after motivation fades. It is what keeps the builder laying bricks when the structure is still invisible. It is what fuels the writer who continues filling the page when no one is reading. It is what powers the entrepreneur who keeps making offers when no one is buying. These men do not continue because of results. They continue because of conviction. There is no such thing as luck in the realm of faith-fueled action. What others call luck is merely the natural outcome of consistency multiplied by belief. The world cannot deny results to the man who refuses to quit and believes beyond reason. Such a man becomes a force of nature. He no longer chases success, he draws it. He no longer waits for signs, he becomes the sign. When faith is real, action becomes second nature. There is no need for external motivation, no need for constant reminders. The vision alone is enough. It lives in the bloodstream. It becomes part of the identity. Every task, no matter how small, is infused with purpose. There is no wasted effort. There is no meaningless motion. Every move becomes strategic because it all ties back to the greater aim. Those who possess this power are immune to the noise of the world. They do not measure their progress by the scoreboard of the moment. They do not fold under pressure. They do not negotiate with excuses. Their mission is too great, their belief too strong. Where others look for the exit, they find the door to opportunity. Where others see failure, they find feedback. Where others hesitate, they advance. They live by the rule that inner certainty produces outer gain. Wealth is not attracted to the timid. It is not persuaded by half-hearted effort. It belongs to the man who moves with clarity and acts with force. His thoughts are definite, his emotions are controlled, and his actions are fueled by a belief so strong that reality bends to match it. The man who lives this way cannot help but produce results. Every step he takes is backed by purpose. Every word he speaks is rooted in conviction. Every day he shows up with a fire that does not need to be lit from the outside. He is driven from within, pulled forward by a vision that owns him, possessed by a future he has already claimed in his mind, and powered by a faith so deep that even failure begins to work in his favor. Specialized knowledge turns ideas into income. An idea alone has no market value. The world is full of dreamers with big visions and empty pockets. What separates those who get paid from those who only imagine is the application of specialized knowledge. Wealth is never built on general information. It is created when precise understanding is turned into service, product, or solution. The man who masters one valuable skill, one niche field, one rare ability, gains a weapon more powerful than any degree or title. He becomes irreplaceable. The schools may teach broad subjects, but life rewards narrow expertise. General education prepares the average man to obey orders. Specialized knowledge equips the ambitious man to give them. You can learn history, math, and literature, but unless you develop mastery over something the market is hungry for, your potential will lie dormant. The fortune is always in the depth, never in the surface. The deeper you dig into a single discipline, the more value you create, and value is the one thing money cannot ignore. Look around and observe who commands high compensation, not the one who knows a little about everything, but the one who understands a lot about one thing. The surgeon, not the general physician. The strategist, not the assistant. The inventor, not the consumer. This pattern never fails. The more specific your knowledge and the more essential its application, the more leverage you gain. Specialized knowledge turns into income when combined with intention. It must be aimed. A man may be full of information, but if he never moves that knowledge into action, it remains lifeless. The mechanic who knows every detail about an engine but never opens a shop remains broke. The man who studies investing but never puts money into the market never gains a return. Knowledge is not power until it is weaponized through execution. This kind of power is not inherited. It is not given. It must be pursued. It must be earned through obsession, through sacrifice, through discipline. The marketplace does not reward dabblers. It has no room for the half-interested. Those who get paid are those who immerse themselves in their craft until they see patterns others miss and create solutions others can't. That level of precision is a magnet for money. One skill mastered can change a life. It can become the core around which a business is built, a brand is developed, and a reputation is established. People pay more for certainty, and certainty is the result of mastery. The expert does not hesitate. The expert does not guess. He diagnoses, decides, and delivers results faster and more effectively than anyone else. That speed, that accuracy, that competence, those are currency. When you know something deeply, you become an authority. You speak with confidence, you attract attention, you get asked for advice, and the moment people are willing to pay for your insight or your solution, the game changes. You are no longer dependent on job titles, credentials, or permission. You become the source. You set your own value. Specialized knowledge multiplies your time. It gives you leverage. One idea backed by deep understanding can be packaged into products, courses, services, or systems that pay you repeatedly. What took years to learn can become a stream of income for decades. This is how the wise operate. They do not chase every opportunity. They invest in the power of their mind until the world comes looking for them. The journey begins with choosing a field worth mastering. It must intersect your natural curiosity with market demand. Once chosen, immersion must follow. Books, mentors, experiments, repetition, these are the ingredients of expertise. There is no shortcut, but once you arrive at mastery, you own something no one can take from you. In every industry, every era, every economy, those with specialized knowledge rise above. They do not compete on price. They compete on excellence. Their work speaks for itself. Their value is recognized without begging. Their income reflects their discipline. They have turned an idea into income by understanding one eternal law. The market rewards depth, not breadth, and wealth is attracted to those who solve problems few others can. Persistence is wealth's gatekeeper. The gates of wealth are not guarded by luck, talent, or intelligence. They are protected by the unyielding force of persistence. Many begin the journey toward success, but only the few who refuse to quit ever reach the finish line. riches are not reserved for the clever or the connected alone. They belong to those who decide and then refuse to undecide. To persist is to make a covenant with yourself that no amount of rejection, delay, or failure will be enough to make you abandon your course. The world tests every man who dares to claim more than mediocrity. It throws obstacles in his way, not to break him, but to prove if he is worthy. The weak will fall at the first sign of discomfort. The average man quits when progress is slow, but the one who understands that persistence is the price of greatness embraces the struggle. He sees every challenge as confirmation that he is on the right path, because nothing of true value comes without resistance. Wealth responds to effort applied over time. A single act of hard work may spark opportunity, but only repeated acts, especially when results are invisible, bring the compound returns that build lasting fortune. The farmer does not plant today and harvest tomorrow. He labors daily, often in silence, while the soil appears still. But beneath that stillness, the seed is transforming. The man of persistence knows this. He understands that consistency, not convenience, creates wealth. The mind will always whisper lies to the one on the path of progress. It will say, "You're wasting time," "It's not working," "You should try something else." These whispers destroy more dreams than failure ever could. But the persistent mind is deaf to them. It has made a decision. It has burned the bridge to retreat. It has chosen to advance regardless of emotion, regardless of circumstance, regardless of how long it takes. The marketplace watches how long you can endure. It pays attention not to how excited you were at the start, but to how committed you remain when nothing seems to be working. Many can show up for a day. Few can show up for years. And it is in those years of unseen labor that character is forged, skill is sharpened, and the foundation of wealth is poured. Persistence does not mean blind repetition. It means adapting without quitting. It means adjusting strategy without compromising the mission. It means staying flexible in your approach but immovable in your outcome. The persistent man learns from failure not to avoid pain, but to refine his strength. He is not driven by comfort. He is driven by a vision so powerful that quitting feels like betrayal. Most men stop too soon. They are inches away from the breakthrough when they throw it all away. They let fatigue speak louder than purpose. But the man who persists breaks through the wall because he is willing to keep swinging the axe long after the others have walked away. He keeps showing up. He keeps doing the work. He keeps believing in the outcome even when the evidence hasn't arrived, yet the law of value creation governs wealth. Wealth does not appear out of thin air, nor does it arrive merely by desire or entitlement. It is the direct result of value created and delivered. The law of value creation governs all forms of prosperity. It is the principle that rules commerce, opportunity, and compensation. Those who understand it rise. Those who ignore it remain trapped in scarcity. Every dollar earned is proof that value has been exchanged. The size of your income is in proportion to the magnitude of the problem you solve, the number of people you serve, and the quality of service you render. Money is not the goal, it is the consequence. The man who chases money will always be at its mercy. But the man who chases value, who focuses on becoming so useful, so essential, so excellent, will find that money is drawn to him without struggle. Value cannot be faked. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be bypassed. It must be built from the inside out through relentless growth, deep skill, and obsessive attention to results. The poor mindset asks, "What can I get?" The wealthy mindset asks, "What can I give that is worth getting paid for?" This single shift transforms everything. When you begin thinking like a producer rather than a consumer, you move from dependence to independence. You stop waiting for opportunity and begin creating it. You become the source instead of the seeker, the fountain instead of the cup. The market does not care about effort alone. It rewards outcomes, solutions, and innovation. Those who solve painful, urgent, or expensive problems become wealthy. It is not about working harder, it is about working more intelligently toward the creation of value that others cannot ignore. To create value, one must study human nature, understand needs, and engineer solutions. The world is full of complaints. Each complaint is a business waiting to happen. Every frustration is a clue. Every inefficiency is a door. The man who observes, listens, and studies deeply can spot the hidden needs that others overlook. He becomes a bridge between what people lack and what they desire. That bridge is where wealth is built. There are levels to value. The person who delivers basic value is paid a wage. The one who delivers skilled value earns a salary. But the one who delivers exceptional, rare, or scalable value writes his own check. Thinkers who become doers, craftsmen who become masters, creators who become leaders, these are the ones who rise to the top. Because they do not just offer effort, they offer excellence, impact, and transformation. They solve problems that matter. They deliver solutions with precision, and the market pays them in proportion to their ability to deliver better, faster, and more consistently than the competition. Value multiplies when it is multiplied. The man who can systematize, scale, or digitize his value unlocks leverage. He no longer exchanges time for money. He creates assets, courses, businesses, platforms, products that serve people while he sleeps. The shift from value as labor to value as asset is the shift from worker to owner. The man who learns to replicate his value breaks free from limits and enters the realm of unlimited wealth creation. No one owes you wealth, but the market is fair in one way: it pays those who give more than they take. It favors creators, producers, builders, and fixers. It favors those who step into the gap between problems and solutions and stay there long enough to become irreplaceable. The moment you stop focusing on what you lack and start focusing on what you can give, your life begins to change. You stop waiting for riches and start attracting them by the force of the value you carry within you, refined through knowledge, hardened through persistence, and expressed through service that improves the lives of others. Controlled emotion commands financial power in the pursuit of wealth. Emotion is either a master or a servant. Those who allow their feelings to dictate their decisions remain reactive, impulsive, and easily shaken. But those who discipline their emotions become calm under pressure, strategic under fire, and consistent despite chaos. Financial power is not only built on numbers and knowledge, it is built on inner mastery. The man who controls his emotions controls his actions, and the man who controls his actions controls his outcomes. Money flows to those who can think when others panic, who can delay gratification when others chase comfort, and who can remain focused when others are distracted. Emotional control is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. The investor who stays steady during a market crash while others sell in fear preserves and multiplies his capital. The entrepreneur who endures rejection after rejection without losing composure becomes the one who finally breaks through. The worker who maintains composure under pressure becomes the leader others follow. Financial decisions made in anger, fear, or desperation are always expensive. These emotions cloud judgment, distort perception, and lead to choices that sabotage progress. The man who cannot master his moods will always be a slave to circumstance. One bad day can cost him weeks of momentum. One emotional outburst can ruin a relationship that took years to build. The game of wealth is played over decades, and only those with emotional endurance can stay in it long enough to win. Impulse is the enemy of wealth. The man who spends because he feels low, who quits because he feels discouraged, who lashes out because he feels offended, is giving away power in every direction. The disciplined man feels all the same things, but he does not let them steer the ship. He pauses before he reacts, he evaluates before he moves, he chooses logic over instinct, vision over emotion, and results over relief. Controlled emotion creates consistency. Consistency builds trust. Trust attracts opportunity, capital, and partnership. People do not invest in unpredictable energy. They invest in those who remain calm, steady, and principled no matter what happens. Emotional discipline is magnetic. It signals leadership. It shows others that you are grounded, not fragile, and prepared to handle more. When you control your emotions, you control your time. You stop wasting hours in frustration, resentment, or self-pity. You stop being pulled into distractions that derail your progress. You stop making excuses. Instead, you focus. You build, you solve, you move forward. Emotion may visit, but it does not dictate. Feelings are acknowledged, not obeyed. This maturity creates momentum. It allows you to show up whether you feel like it or not. It allows you to commit whether the circumstances are ideal or not. It allows you to act with power in moments when most would collapse. Wealth favors the composed. The boardroom, the negotiation, the investment all require poise. The man who remains collected when stakes are high, who does not reveal desperation, who listens more than he speaks, who thinks before he decides, becomes a force to be reckoned with. Others begin to rely on him, they respect him, they follow his lead because they know he will not crack under pressure. This reputation becomes leverage. There is also a quieter power in emotional control, the ability to stay grateful when progress is slow, to remain humble when results are great, and to stay hungry even when comfort becomes available. These states of being do not arise by accident. They are cultivated. They are trained. They are the result of a man who understands that his feelings are tools, not tyrants. Discipline over emotion is not about suppression, it is about redirection. It is about channeling energy toward productive outcomes. Anger becomes fuel for discipline. Sadness becomes a signal to recalibrate. Excitement becomes a spark, not a distraction. The man who learns to convert emotion into action, to feel deeply yet act wisely, builds a foundation that cannot be shaken. His wealth becomes inevitable, not because he was the loudest or the luckiest, but because he was the most stable, the most focused, and the most composed under fire. Wealth is not an accident. It is the result of understanding and applying timeless principles with unwavering discipline. Those who rise financially are not the luckiest, but the most deliberate. They define their purpose, take faith-driven action, master specialized knowledge, persist through adversity, create immense value, and control their emotions with precision. Money follows those who align their mind, skill, and behavior with the laws of wealth. The journey may be long, but the rewards are limitless for the one who refuses to quit. When you become the person who embodies these principles, wealth is no longer pursued, it is attracted.